Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
And if I had to pick a song this week, it would be Your Cheating Heart, Spook.
Spook.
Yes!
Massacre in Adelaide as four-line pricks fuck up a game time and time and time and time again.
Did you say pricks?
Social media is alight with people criticising, condemning their umpiring. And I'm not just talking about fans. Mark Stevens. That's a justice win. Super by pies, bizarre by umps. Dane Swan. Umpire 19 is a dead set cheat. Should be investigated this week.
Fucking oath.
Andy Marr, who hates Collingwood. Horrific umpiring. 4 of them. Hard to believe.
No, it's not.
Twitter account, has the umpire made a bad decision? AFL Crows Pies was possibly the worst umpired game I can remember in my time running these accounts. We'll have more to say in coming days. Well done to Adelaide and Collingwood for a great game. When we let it down, you didn't let it down. You fucking kicked it in the butt, dug a hole, fucking dumped it in the hole, and then shit on it for fucking 120 minutes.
I was going to say that comes from an ex-AFL umpire, that account too.
And
you think he might know something?
He might. So we'll get the I don't know, what would you call it? The bitterness and all that out first. That was fucking the worst fucking thing. It's really hard to actually pick. What was the worst decision? Was it Ash Johnson's head being taken off in the goal square?
I still think it's the Murphy one.
The Murphy, Mark.
He's got fucking blood coming out of his
poleaxed in his face, front on contact.
It's just amazing.
As the coach, Craig McRae, also pointed out, he's bleeding, so he should be stopping the game for the fucking blood rule.
So they can get another player on.
Yep.
At a crucial time.
But they actually ball it up, and then the goalie handballs the ball fucking in that direction when Murphy still is getting escorted off the field, and the goalie basically turns to the umpires going, why aren't you fucking stopping this? And it's a deliberate against the goalie.
But the 948 times that you can just step over the boundary line is okay.
Oh, that was appalling. They fucking constantly just stepped over.
Do you think
without
someone
no pressure
at the AFL needs to get a fucking dictionary out and look up what the actual definition of deliberate is?
Well, how good was that deliberate early in the last quarter where fucking the goalie streamed out of the centre, trying to hook the ball around his body. He's kicked it 40, 50 metres, it's bounced and gone out, and they've pinged that for deliberate. There's fucking times they handballed it out, they stepped it over. Not a single one of those was paid.
That the goalie one's fucked. I mean, at what point does he gain advantage by doing that if it was a deliberate action? He's trying to kick the fucking ball and clear it forward. He's miskicked it or whatever. Under pressure, it's gone over there. It's a deliberate act. I mean, it's just fucking... It's fucked.
It is superbly fucked. It's ridiculous. The deliberate rule's broken because it's basically, if you kick it and it goes out and one of your teammates is not within 10 metres, it's a deliberate.
But the thing is, like, you take a moment, like the ones where you pay, that surely sets a precedent for the game.
Yeah.
But it's fucking
the double standards
lottery
in this game.
You have no idea what each action that you do, and it's not even just the deliberate rule, it's so many fucking applications of the rule. You see, well, there's a prime example. Surely that's how it's going to be for the rest of the game. Oh, fuck me, there's 10 of them that we don't look at.
Yeah. They should apply context, but they don't trust the fucking umpires. The thing I loved about the Gowie one was the umpire was like, yes, they're 3 goals down. He wants it out of bounds. That's what they want to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Why would they want to kick a goal? Why would they want to keep it in? It's fucking appalling. And just the amount of bad decisions throughout the fucking whole game of holding the balls that weren't paid to us, them diving on top of the fucking ball, our players getting hit, going in marking contests. It was just it was flabbergasting. It was seriously fucked up. And, you know, I'm with Dane Swan. Investigate. And a fucking special mention to bloody Anthony Hudson. A fucking Crow player takes out Ash Johnson's legs, fucking catapults him, and Anthony Hudson. Well, that was self-induced.
It's a fucking piece of work. How could a head that big have a brain that small? What is up there? It's obviously a lot of space.
There's not a lot.
Is there a for rent sign on top of his head?
Fucking so.
There's prime real estate going there.
Jeez, this is a seriously bad fucking commentary.
And could fucking Fox have loaded up with a more fucking biased commentary team?
I don't know. They probably could have got fucking, I don't know.
Except for Cass, she's alright. But fucking hell.
I actually think Rashudo's okay. I think the other fucking... Like, Rashudo will barrack, but he'll actually applaud good fucking play in the other teams.
I did like his comment, though, that the hard tag was affecting Nick's ability to do kick-ins.
Yeah, well...
he must have been just quivering behind the post. So please don't let me do another one. Dad,
So
he's
let's
got
get
me.
to the fucking game. Jeez, we're swearing a lot this fucking rant. Crows killed us
Do we
in that
need to
first
put one
quarter.
of those
No, fuck that.
strip warnings up
That would
for
require some editing.
coarse language or something?
No.
Or you reckon fuck it?
Fuck it. First quarter, Adelaide absolutely obliterated us and probably should have been about 9 goals up.
Yeah, very reminiscent of last week a little bit, wasn't it?
Oh, this is worse than last week.
You sort of think, well, if you wanted to give him a little bit of a concession, that 5-day break, and by the way, AFL, fucking genius, scheduling us to play them interstate after we've had that break and the week before we travelled interstate, when we could have played either Melbourne or Richmond.
Well, that's the way
who
you
played
think.
the previous day.
You think logically you'd structure it that if you're going to play on the Tuesday and there's going to be a Monday game, then those teams play one another. One from Tuesday, one from Monday.
Logic. There you go again, bringing logic into it.
I mean, that is absurd. That's terrible fixturing. And you go, well, send this one team there, a 5-day break, and fucking get them to fly interstate. No, it is appalling, you know. So I imagine next year when the Anzac Day game's on the Thursday, I imagine we'll be fixed to play 2 days later on the Saturday also.
No, Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it's
Probably over in Perth.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Guatemala.
Yeah, so go on. Then Crows killed us first quarter.
Yeah, no, I think I said I think the 5-day break may have been a factor in there. You saw how ordinary and flat Essendon were today if you were watching the game at times. So you sort of thought that maybe that's going to be the same issue for us. Fresher legs with the Crows playing at home, the old home ground advantage. But we looked lost for that first quarter, just nothing. The pressure we succumbed to, the skill execution was
The skill
was
execution
deplorable.
was the biggest thing.
I mean, we fucking kicked to... I mean, how many times we were chopped out? We were kicking to every Adelaide tall.
I mean, from
that
memory,
we could find. It was horrible.
I think we got about 48% disposal efficiency.
Thank fuck that they couldn't kick straight. Otherwise, we'd have been staring
Well,
at a
so that should have been 9
goal
goals.
loss.
I mean, that right side seemed to be the scoring side because in the second quarter they only kicked 4 points and we
Well,
kicked
it's
3-2.
it's downhill.
Yeah, potentially. So we kicked 3-2 to their 4 points. In the third quarter, they kicked 3-5. So again, they're inaccurate, and we kicked 2-1. And then last quarter, obviously, we kicked 3-6 to their 1-1. So that right side, for whatever reason, was scoring, and it was meant to be a little bit wet and shit. I mean, the biggest problem I thought was just several biggest problems. One is this fucking manic move at that forward at all costs. I think sometimes you need to apply a little bit of thought to it. There's times where it's just like, just take the fucking handball, you know? And they're just sort of going, no, let's play this kamikaze game.
They take the handball. It just went over there. 100 metres.
Skill execution was terrible. That was the worst thing. Some of those handballs at feet, firing in like to someone 1 foot away as hard as possible and all that was really disappointing. Going into forward 50, even with Kruger getting injured. Well, there's a shock. With Kruger getting injured.
By Elliott's sweeping the leg.
But we don't know because they said it was knee, then they said it was ribs. So no one knows, but...
No, I saw Crease there. He said sweep the leg to Elliott.
But fucking going forward in that forward 50, and then we've done it a few weeks in a row now. That mindless bombing. Now, whether McStay's absence fucks up the functionality of that forward line, I mean, all the small forwards were struggling. Elliott, Hill, McCreary...
Yep.
McCreary had some really good efforts, but didn't really impact the scoreboard. Ginnivan, I mean, again, they all did some nice things in isolation, but no one could really get into the game in any great way.
No, whether that was the plan. I mean, no one was going to take a contested mark today, but maybe the plan was to try and bring the ball down to the ground. But,
well, their ruckman took about 115 contested marks.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Well, that's another thing too. You got rid of kickouts. Okay, Craig McRae, you're an intelligent man. What is the fucking strategy to just run out 2 metres and then boot it to congestion, which their ruckman is dominating, and just hope that we're going to fucking win it? We're not winning it. I've said it a few times. Why, when there's all the congestion on one flank, don't 2 players just run the other way and then just fucking flip it? What? I don't understand how stupid our kick-out strategy is, because it was just kick and hope.
Incredibly repetitive.
And the amount of times they took marks, their talls fucking took marks, it was just insane. And we just kept doing it. It reminded me of a certain grand final where we kept kicking out. Anyway. But you got to give it to them for fucking the resiliency, for their willingness to fight it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when it looked like... I mean, there was every chance there for a while that Adelaide just wanted to blow the game open, but just couldn't convert. And I think once we upped the pressure and we nullified them completely, and we were able to reel them back in, which was an incredible effort considering how sloppy we'd been up to that point. But then the same happened, and then in the third quarter where they flipped the torch and flipped the torch. Is that a saying? It is now. They flipped the switch and they put the pressure back on us, and we wilted to a hell of a certain extent.
In some ways, it's very similar to what happened against Brisbane, where McStay rucked and he just got dominated, and Frampton tried but was just obliterated in the ruck. And it was just constant playing this defensiveness, and they were getting the first dibs on the ball. I mean, Mitchell was great, but we really struggled. Even though we won clearances, it was like we didn't get some of that spread away from the ball. It was just always a scrap to fucking get anywhere, and we're constantly having to defend and then win clearances. And I should point out too, because I forgot to mention it, because those fucking umpires, because it's relevant to them. Jordan De Goey, the amount of contests he had to attend one arm because he was just fucking being held and scrapped, and then this thing about the tag on Nick Dacos, again, fucking being held constantly. There was also one with Chris where I remember he got called for holding the ball where he had to pick it up with one hand because the Adelaide guy had the other hand and it was dispossessed. It was like...
Play on.
Yeah. No, it was actually holding the ball event. So...
That was the gag. Play on. Every time they were held, there was no free there to pay.
Yeah, let's not go back there.
No.
Yeah, but anyway.
Did I tell you about the 666 rule?
But there's a lot of things that weren't quite working. You look at the first few weeks where we had it flowing to what's been happening. We've really played only about a quarter of football in a lot of these games into dominant football. We're trying to scrap it out, but fuck, it really worries me that when you look at that side and you think they really need a genuine key forward.
Oh yeah, I think. But the other thing is, look, again, to be fair, you're pretty low on personnel at the moment. There's a lot of those key positions that we have a lot of injuries that are preventing the blokes that we would rather be out there. I think that shift now is being into just that manic move the ball fucking forward at every possible cost. The amount of times they're kicking off the ground and just keeping that ball going into the attacking zone so we can hopefully score out of it just seems to be the way that we're reacting because we don't have those skills there to sort of complement the style of game we were playing early on in the year.
I would like to see, because Nick Dacos is struggling to get into it, I would have liked to see just, Craig, look, go stand at full forward. Elliot, you go on the ball for a little bit. Elliot was struggling to get into the game. Just to change up for 5 minutes, try and get him in it. Just change the dynamics in it, because it sort of seems like every week it's just believe in the system, and we'll tick it over. And, a few times it hasn't quite worked, like finals. But then they sort of do the bizarre things, like I'm not sure why Moore drifted forward with a couple of minutes to go. It's like he's your one stopper down back now that Murphy's off and one interceptor.
I kind of don't mind that because it's an all or nothing approach. At least you're trying something different. Yeah, look at that stage. Look, if you lost, at least you've had a crack at something different. But as it turns out, it's probably worked. So
I would have rather thrown something like the goalie up forward. Just the way the defence is structured. So you look at the defence. Murphy's gone off. Howe's obviously not there. Really, I don't know. They're getting people like Will Kelly and that stepping in, so really inexperienced players. I don't think Quaynell's really travelled that great. Noble, I think, struggled for a lot of the game outside of the kicking the winning, but effectively the winning goal.
That was an importantly brilliant clutch goal, though. That was amazing. I mean,
I've
got to give it to him on that one. That was brilliant.
But that's what he's good at. He's good at taking the game on, and good on him for actually keeping his composure to say, "Hang on, I'm not going to just do a panic kick." You're trying to get clear and go, "I've got to kick a goal here." But a side bottom was great. But in terms of defence, I reckon at times, I don't know, it's like the system's working, but the individual players aren't doing brilliantly in providing that rebound and counter attack and all that sort of run. I lost where I was going to go with that.
I think you finished.
Probably finished. But in terms of did you going in that last quarter? You put it perfectly before you said with all the adversity going against us.
Oh yeah, but that's in hindsight and reflection at the end of the game. Going into the last quarter, I wasn't convinced that we'd pull it off this week. It just felt like when the game opened, there was another some bullshit fucking free paid that Adelaide gold from, and I thought that's probably it. I think the floodgates might open a little bit here. But then they just started dominating the clearances. And even though we weren't getting the results on the scoreboard, I think it just didn't let up. That freneticism was just solid attacking. And I thought maybe if we started snagging a couple, we could probably make a game of this. And as it turns out, we certainly fucking did. And that caught me by surprise. But yeah, just on that point about what you said at the end, or what I said at the end, is it's just amazing when you look at that game in the context of the adversity from the fucking umpire fraternity, that you could actually drag yourself over that and snag a win. Like even at the end, what I really loved was when the ball was going in and then his head wasn't taken off, that Ash had the composure just to tap it over, and then make it a drawn game. We talked about it, just how fucking relaxed he is during the game. He doesn't show any emotion. I don't know whether he's part Vulcan or... at one stage I saw him relaxing on a sun lounge in the goal square. He's just...
I've never... I've fought in games where it's 1 point difference going deep into the quarter. Why the team is 1 point down, don't try and do something like that to even it. And I've seen situations where they've had opportunities, but they've still gone for the goal to get in front and shit like that. So, I mean, massive credit for Johnson. I don't know if he was thinking, if it comes down here, that's what I'm going to do if I can't take a clean grab, or if it's just a spontaneous decision, because it changed the complexion of the game from Adelaide can save, protect the lead, to now Adelaide now have to win it also, and they have to start fucking taking risks. So it was really brilliant by him to do that. So well done to Johnson, and he shows those sort of those moments of sheer brilliance, and if you can start applying consistently, there will be no ceiling on this.
Hell of a cameo though at the end.
Oh, brilliant. Were you surprised Hoskin Elliott survived to play this game, but then again with so many players out?
You'd have to argue in the last couple of minutes he was crucial. He had that intercepting...
he had that really good tackle.
Yeah, and then he sent it forward. He was part of that link that ended up with the tap over. He was big. Considering, I think Fly said in the present, he threw him up. He had to be... he didn't score or anything like that, but his presence around the forward line, it reminded me back a little bit of that 2018 season where he actually looked like he belonged. He was good. Well, credit due, because I know you hate him and you pot him every chance you get. Like Kevin coming down the stairs into the studio here, you were slamming him. But no, he was good. He was good when it mattered.
Have you seen that meme of Keith Richards where it says we need to start thinking about the world we're going to leave behind for Keith Richards? We need to start thinking about the Collingwood we're going to leave behind for Will Hoskin Elliott.
We are planning his 500th game celebrations, aren't we? There'll be merchandise.
The two Dacos brothers, Josh got a fair bit of it, but only went about 50%, but that's pretty much what everyone was going at.
Yeah, we looked at the numbers after the game. I don't think there was everyone was hovering between 50 to 60% disposal efficiency, which, probably explains the first couple of quarters to a certain extent. Well, the
umpires are going to 50% efficiency also.
They could only aspire to that level of confidence.
No, they got 50% was the Adelaide side.
But he was, I think he was unfairly maligned by you during the game.
Josh, I really liked that.
No, I know you weren't. No, but I think he was really good.
The one he was maligned by was a shooter. A shooter goes, you're quiet one down, the other one pops up. It's like, no, Josh has been playing well the whole year.
I consistently agree on him. He was good. He finished with, 31 touches, I think.
Important goal.
Yeah, 1-1. He ended up kicking. The good thing is, I think he actually had more influence in the game for the first time in a while than his brother did.
Yeah,
and that's. I hope the two of them are battling for a number of years for who's the best on fucking ground. Nick was well held by the tagger, but they ditched the tagger, I think, in the last quarter, and he sort of came into things a little bit better. But his game certainly wasn't putrid by any style. I think some of his kicking in the first quarter was very poor, but he certainly wasn't.
But he wasn't the only one,
no. So you can't really pot anyone in isolation in that respect for their bad skill execution, because they're all pretty shit.
Well, I can. Taylor Adams.
Oh. That's it, but it's not so much his still execution. He's just got so fucking hesitant. There are times where I think his natural game should have moved the ball forward, and he hesitated. He either got whacked, or he didn't fucking had enough time to think about what he was doing and completely fucked the handball kick.
But there was a couple of times he went for kicks, sort of across ground to teammates, and it was like, I've got this. It's only 40, 45 metres or whatever, and he's kicked it 35 to Adelaide players. So there were, the person we watched the game with, I remember years ago, he just says he overestimates his ability, and he's the one where I think that you really got to simplify what he does. And it's probably just handball or fucking trust your instincts. The moment you have time to think, we're all in danger. Tom Mitchell was good.
Yeah, no, he was, again, another one with, I think he ended up with about 66% disposal efficiency. He was probably one of our better users of the ball. But, no, he was good. He was unfortunately robbed of a goal there at the end. It was a fair old roost. I called it at the time. I thought it was going to go through. But yeah, he's exactly what we needed this year, and he's doing it so much as the quiet achiever. Yeah. I think it would be the tag that he'd be wearing happily. Doesn't have to be all about him anymore, but he's just fucking out there doing it each week.
Oleg Markov.
He's going all right, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's pretty solid. He tries. I think he really brings a lot of energy to the side.
He's got some good runs off half back, and I think his ball use is it was a bit patchy in the first game or two, but I think as he's getting into the rhythm of things, I don't remember him coughing up too many today. I thought he was pretty consistent with his use.
No, I mean the one in terms of the disposal inefficiency, I guess you call it. They were all making the same sort of errors. There's like the bad handballs, the bad scraps, the bad sort of passes and all that, over kicking, under kicking and all that sort of shit. So, again, I don't know how much fatigue played into the conditions. A lot of it combined, pressure. But, no, look, Markov, I look at him and go, oh, fuck, I'd probably play him in front of a couple of others down there now.
Yeah, look, as we start getting some blokes back over the next, what would it be, 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be some interesting choices having to be made.
Will Kelly?
Look, there was a couple of times I think he cocked up or he's slow to respond, but, how many games has he played? It's not that many.
No.
But when he's moving, he moves beautifully, and he's got a great penetrating kick. Look, I think actually his good outweighed the couple of moments of bad. I certainly wouldn't string him up and say, that's it, you're done. I think he's showing. I think that there's something there that you want to be working with. I don't, because he's out of contract at the end of the year. I think.
And all the clubs are offering.
But on present form, I'd certainly. I don't think I'd be ditching at the end of the year. On present form,
look, Will Kelly brings someone to the side that we lack, which is height.
Mm-hmm.
If you could, I don't want to say carry him, but if you could sort of say, hey, we're going to give you a good run at this, so unless you really fuck up, you're starting 18, I'd be saying just keep playing him, because playing him also, what they do it defensively? I mean, McRae.
He'd be McFrayed at the end of the game.
Yeah, McRae said like he's a really beautiful mover, which is why they're using him on the wing.
McFray is?
Yeah, no, Kelly. But, if you have Moore and Kelly down back as the two tall defenders, then guys like Murphy and that can play the chop out, or, you can get Moore to play the chop out. So, yeah, no, really, really impressed with Kelly. I thought, he's remained upright for 2 weeks, so good on him. Any final thoughts about this unlikely win?
Oh, it was a great fucking win. Like, sitting here now and thinking about it, it's like you've got to love what Collingwood are giving you at the moment in terms of entertainment.
On heart attacks.
And heart attacks. But, last week was incredible. This week's incredible. I don't want this to be the norm, though, if you want to be selfish. I think we need to do a couple more ports now and just fucking blow some sides away and relax. The close battles are good. I think you get to find out a lot about yourself, and they're learning a lot from these moments. Certainly that I don't want to go and have this happen in a grand final. I want them to go out and be fucking that polished and that well executed by the end of the year, assuming we made it, or if we made it, or whatever, that we go out there and we win that game by 412 points.
Well, Steve Quartermain said that, on Twitter, he hopes we win the flag because we're good for football.
Yeah, look,
that's from Steve Quartermain.
At the moment, like I said, it's a great view, and it's a great time to be supporting the club in terms of what they're giving us as supporters. It's not the shits for a change. But, this is just part of the journey. There's a long way to go for the rest of the year. But at the moment, it's been an incredible performance. When you consider the outs that we have at the moment, we're not even
fucking about 7 players out.
We're realistically with a recognisable ruckman. Frampton pretty much rucked the bulk of the game today. That's you've got to give credit to I don't think he was brilliant or anything. He could have fucking held a few marks. It would have helped. But it's admirable what they're doing and what he's doing. It's incredible considering, you're not... we just fucking got. We can't go back and get anyone else to fill some of these roles, and people are being asked to do some extraordinary things inside of these positions, and they're achieving it. It's brilliant.
My final thoughts. I'm going to give the weakest piss award to Isaac Rankin. Fucking Noble gets his head taken off. He's laying on the ground. Rankin comes and shoves him like, oh yeah, fuck it. Seriously, that's just piss weak. And, the AFL always talk about cleaning up the game and shit like that. Stuff like that is just fucking absolutely piss weak. Well done to Braden Maynard, who just fucking went straight in there to remonstrate.
It was like a Hulk there at one stage.
It's seriously...
Clothes were ripping off left, right and centre. He was wearing a skirt at one point coming off.
I mean, fucking how tough is that to actually go shove a prone, possibly injured? You don't know, because it's just happened right then, and he's just come and pushed him. And he's done it like, oh, you're weak. You got hit legitimately in the head. You've fallen on the ground. You're dazed. You're confused. And it's like, well, now let me come and push you because I'm a fucking tough guy. Get back to the fucking Suns, you weak prick.
He was a bit of a sniper.
It's just, that was, I mean, I like his talent, but that was fucking weak.
What was good out of a few of those moments is just how they just, as a group, flew the flag too. It's like nobody was fucking left wondering.
Yep.
There was a couple of melees, so I don't think they fine for these things anymore, do we? We've lost interest in that.
It'll be fine, but don't you remember...
But there was a couple of massive coming-togethers of the entire...
Don't you remember Nick Dacos got reported for pushing someone in the back pre-game in the jostling last year against Port?
Did they?
Yeah, I never liked old jostling, and Nick Dacos went like that, and he got reported, and I think he got fined.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah. And speaking of weak shit umpiring, not a Collingwood game, but a former Collingwood player, Jaden Stevenson incurred 250s from Razor Ray
That was fucked.
for a questionable umpiring decision, so he complained about that. And then when Stevenson demonstrated, well, that's what he did, Razor said, well, give him another 50.
Well, what's more,
and then
though,
Razor went off and said, talk to the hand.
So that, in a sense, is exactly the dissent. So it's what, what's that saying about 2 rules, 1 for thee, not for me, or something like that?
Yeah.
To quote Shakespeare, I think it was. He's a grandstanding flog at times, and I think he actually outdone even his best performance in that respect.
But the thing that kills me about that fucking instance too is Razor Ray proved how stupid and redundant this dissent rule is. Because at the end, Razor Ray just said, I'm not listening to you. Why can't the umpire just take that view immediately and just run off and go, no?
Well, you mean like the 412 other times he does during the game?
Yeah. You know.
Oh, I'm going to pick and choose this moment to say this is dissent. Not only that, but 2 fucking 50-metre penalties, mate.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I'm saying is like, I think it's ridiculous that you're telling footballers in the heat of the moment they can't show frustration. I understand you want dissent where they're not going to absolutely disparage the umpire and swear and all that sort of shit. But if the player's questioning, like, and I saw it today, like, there was times Sidebottom talked to the player, like, about, to the umpire going, all he ducked and all that sort of shit. And they just had a conversation. The umpire addressed it, was done. That should be dissent too, according to that qualification. But I'm surprised it wasn't in that fucking game. Why players can't show that frustration is fucking beyond me. Have you noticed the quieting of the shit on the media airwaves? It's got nothing to do with us. Mark Robinson's not on television. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, it's good, isn't it?
It's fucking beautiful.
I'm not wearing out as many remote buttons anymore. The mute one for a start. Yeah,
For a charge.
Whatever's wrong with you, Robbo, don't get over it quickly. Just take your time, put your feet up, maybe come back to us in 10, 12 years.
Just don't come back, mate. Retire. It's the universe telling you need to move on to a different profession. Sewerage worker, maybe.
We're eminently qualified.
Well, given the drivel you write, maybe go pen a Disney Star Wars movie. Sydney next week, playing him in Melbourne for the first time since about fucking 2013, I think it is.
We're no chance in this game.
Pendle should come back. Cox should come back, depending on conditioning.
Would you bring him straight back in?
Yeah.
I think you can with a ruckman, can't you? There's no benefit sending him back through the
Well,
VFL. I don't think we can afford to be honest.
Well, Kruger won't play, so...
No. So I think your hands are pretty much tied in this respect. You've got to do it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think definitely bring him in. You'd hope the conditioning...
He'd have to be able to run and stuff.
He's been around for 7 years. Conditioning can't have suffered that bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
4 weeks.
even though he's had that weight to the back, it hasn't stopped him from training. I mean, he's still fucking run around and play the fool and all that sort of stuff, can't he? He's got the American 60 Minutes are doing a report on him.
Really?
Yeah. He was tweeting about it. They had a little bit of a like a trailer thing to it.
Oh. What's
There's
the
a
story?
Texan out there playing Aussie rules. Or something along those lines.
And they've got Jamaican accents.
I think they got the Yank of the podcast to interview him.
Good work.
Or are you saying all Americans sound the same?
Like Jamaicans? No, I'm not saying that. What do you think? So seriously, Sydney heartbreaking loss. Can I tell you how I watched this game too with GWS? Like I was watching it, and then Sydney got to like 3-4 goals ahead, and I muted it and I started screening on my iPad, and I was just doing something. I was immersed in. Next time I looked up, the siren had gone, and the Sydney players were disconsolate, and GWS had won. I was like,
it's the Toby Green thing.
yes,
Isn't it?
I missed the
I
whole
heard
comeback, so I rewound about 5 minutes and watched it. So they had a heartbreaking loss after being smashed by Geelong 2 weeks earlier, so they're not travelling too great, Sydney.
No, look, and I don't think history is littered with sides that could absolutely poleaxe in a grand final that come on and do anything the following year. Hopefully we well and truly account.
We came back from 80 in 81.
I said so it's not littered with too many. We're not a great example because ultimately we end up with the same result. Look, I think we got how much? We got a decent break now. We play
7 days.
Sunday, so full 7 days. The 4 bumbling incompetence shouldn't be let anywhere near another game, let alone
I
ours.
think after how badly that game was received, we'll just get a gift run next week.
Oh, but the AFL come out and say like, we think we got one wrong. We got probably one thing wrong.
Remember that fucking umpire Derek Humphreys Smith? And there was a game against Fremantle about 04-05 where Tarrant just got held so many times. And he used to do that column in the Herald Sun explaining the freeze and justifying basically anything that, was bad. And he goes, well, of the 8 that people think were there to Tarrant, I think only half of them were there. It's like only 4 free kicks were there. That wasn't fucking much, was it? Sorry, went on the tangent there. It'd be good to play him here for a fucking change. There'll be a little bit of...
It hasn't happened since about 1972, I think.
No.
That was South Melbourne back then, apparently, last time we played him at the G.
Last time we played him was the Adam Goods racial incident game. So
Was that here, was it?
yeah, that was was it 13 or 15? But
Do you think we'll get our boo on then this week?
Well,
We,
Nick Dacos was getting booed.
was he? Yeah, I did see that. I mean, why?
You saw it.
No, I did. I heard it as well. It's amazing how these things work in unison. Look, I can't fucking fathom for the life of me why Horn Francis gets booed everywhere he goes.
No, that shits me too.
And I don't know why you would boo Nick Dacos. What did he do? Did he do anything in the game?
He's Greek Macedonian. So,
well, that's it. Maybe it is racial then booing.
well, they booed Frampton early.
Did they?
I think they booed him once and they forgot about it for the rest of the game.
Because he looks like an Aryan.
I'm not going there. So Pendle should come back.
Yep, good.
Cox should be available.
Yep, good. Who are the outs this week? I don't think we had any apart from Kruger. But that's given. Surely, with the ins, the first thing you type is next week out. That's pretty.
Well, McRae originally said he wanted Kruger to play minutes.
Well, he got his wish.
He got his wish. Well done. Because you've played too many minutes. We've overfueled you for the next 6 weeks. It's a shame with Kruger because you'd like to see him get a good chance at it, but
You would think if we hadn't succumbed to all these ruck injuries, he would have been managed back through the VFL. I think through circumstance. I mean, I feel for him. He's been forced to come back into the seniors, and it's well and truly fucked him. Yeah. Well, Elliot well and truly fucked him, it seemed, this time.
Well, I don't know if it was Elliot or there was that collision on half forward, because they're saying it's ribs now, so that's probably... It's ribs, that would have been that collision.
There was a couple of times early on in the game that he came out of contest and he was holding something. Like, it was just like...
He was holding his shoulder at one stage.
Yeah, all of me feels sore, so... He's just said, I've got an owie on the bench, and they said, that's it, mate, you're done. Get off.
It was like the Raiders Lost Ark scene. Where doesn't it hurt? Anyway, Tip.
I saw Kelly give him a horsey bite at one stage to try and get onto the ground. Tip, Swans by 10 goals.
All right, Collingwood by 31.
31 what?
Points.
Huh?
Revenge.
Umpiring decisions?
We'll get a good run this week. If we don't, we'll get a good run the following week.
You think so?
I'm actually shocked that the last 2 weeks, the umpiring's been so bad, and you think, oh, it's like we're not tackling or something. And you look at the ones they're just not playing. The double standards, I hate that in umpiring. Whichever the game, it's not just Collingwood ones, because I complain about this in other games. It's like it's there for one side, it's there for both.
Yep.
I mean, that Ash Johnson one, fucking hell. Jesus. Anyway, any final
I think he's
thoughts?
still got him on. He's still trying to comb him out of his hair. It's just incredible.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Any final thoughts? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Umpiring?
I would just say great win against all odds and against everything going against you. Would have been easy to drop your head and just say it's too fucking hard. Well done the side bottom. He really played. I reckon he's played really well the last few weeks, and today I thought was important because he was effectively the most senior player we have.
And it really came in handy at the end there.
And it's, like we've been critics of side bottom at times, so, give him credit where it's due, so well done the side bottom.
He certainly reinvented himself under McFray.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't?
I think everyone has.
Yep.
Look at Markov.
He's done really well. He was unsighted under
He was designing websites a couple of weeks ago until McFray got on the phone according to the article today. It's as I said, it's just exciting time.
Yep. That's it from us. So we'll be back maybe, I don't know, sober.
Oh, we are sober today.
Oh, sorry, uninfected. Said too much.
Uninfected by ineptitude.
Yep. Later.
Catch.